Hi there, it's Batavia here. I am sharing my front yard garden with you all this morning. It's morning here in Chicago. It's Saturday, August the 17th at around 7 a.m. So first up, the flower bed. I've been working on this for years. Each year I expand it, whether it's in size or with the number of flowers that I plant. So this year, I don't know, I've probably planted at least 10 additional perennials, which I'm pretty happy with. My general rule of thumb is if I'm planting in ground, it's a perennial. And then I use the two-tier pots here to plant a few different annuals. So I've added a number of things this season, including the little bird bath here. I haven't seen any birds, but I've seen plenty of bees and butterflies enjoying a drink. Sunflowers I have planted in a couple of spots in the front and the back. It's the first year for me growing sunflowers, and I bought them from a nursery and they didn't remember what they had planted, so it's actually going to be a pretty big surprise. The ones in the back are actually up to 7 feet tall, so we'll see. It's pretty exciting. All of this work was done this year. One of the final touches will be an iron fence, but until then I have pretty good access. I have two beds. They're about 10.5 feet by 3.5 feet. All right, so we're back at the first bed number one, we'll call it. We have okra planted. I put in, at this point I'd probably have to look at my notes, but this is lettuce, I'm pretty sure. I planted right at the beginning in June, but I think it was just too warm then for it to take off, so it's a little bit of sun scald, you can see. But it's starting to produce leaves, so we'll see how it goes as the weather gets cooler. I tried my hand at carrots. This is the second year. Last year I tried them in buckets and wasn't very successful. I planted many more seeds, but you know, if I get 2 or 3 carrots, I think I'd be happy for this year. Recently I dropped some dill seeds, just because all of my dill is actually gone to flower. So in the back, while the caterpillars are enjoying it, I won't have any for my cucumbers when I start pickling. This is chard. Ford Hook, I think is the variety. This is one of our cherry tomatoes that my nursery gave me. Put in the bed pretty late, but it's producing a couple of cherry tomatoes and it was free, so hey. These are one of my faves. These are royal purple beans, and they actually produce purple beans, like string beans, but there we have it. When you cook them, they turn green, which is just pretty cool, I think. So I have a few here, maybe enough to put in to a salad raw. I have some in the other bed as well, so I'll check on those. Everything you see on the trellis is really cucumbers, various varieties, or I've planted some vining string beans. And of course, most recently for the fall, I guess you would say, I planted some snap peas. So they have like bloomed really well. These are only a couple of weeks old, and I started them from seed. These are jalapeno pepper plants, and I just don't know. Earlier, all of my pepper plants, and when I show you the backyard in another video, you'll see all of my pepper plants. They are actually starters that I've purchased, and earlier in the spring I accidentally bought garden salsa plants. They were marked, but I don't know, I bought like one jalapeno pepper plant and like 5 or 6 garden salsa plants, pepper plants. So that wasn't my intention. I really wanted to pickle jalapeno peppers this year. So what I ended up doing is kind of later in the season, probably, I don't know, June, the end of June, I went and bought additional jalapeno pepper plants, and I didn't have that much room in my pepper bed in the back, but I squeezed a couple of in. And then for the front yard, kind of as an experiment, I wanted to see how they would do up here. So they've not gotten bushy as far as leaves, and I didn't bother to prune them since I didn't have that much time in the season. So instead, I'm just kind of letting them go, and we'll see what they're gonna do. So there are 3 up here. Zucchini. I've gotten 3 or 4 zucchini off of this plant. A couple have shriveled up, haven't been pollinated, and that's fine. The placement of it isn't the most ideal given how big zucchini grow, but it's actually been kind of controlled. That's one that I don't expect to make it. It doesn't look like it's been pollinated properly. It's kind of already starting to shrivel. So we'll see. So the other side of the bed, I'll need to pin up some of these cucumber vines. You can see some cucumbers have started to form there. And the string beans, I just hope they don't get lost in the cucumbers. I think the term is sometimes choked out. So this is all a learning experience. I've not done cucumbers or beans together like this, or on this size trellis. So we'll see. There is a morning bee that's checking to see if there's breakfast that's ready. Pretty cool. So that is bed number 1. I will actually share bed number 2, 3, and 4 in just a moment. So we have bed number 2, which is about the same. Most of the same things have been duplicated in this bed. Okra in the front. There is an okra bloom that's not quite open yet. So pretty. Some red lettuce. One more time for the lettuce. I put in both of these beds in June, but I think June and July were just too warm, but now they're starting to take off. So beets in this bed. A squirrel started digging around in it, so I put the wire on top of it. More of my snap peas. And then same idea here. Instead of the purple beans over here, I have regular bush green beans. And then along the trellis, I have more cucumbers and string beans, vining string beans. So I have 2 eggplants of the Japanese variety. I'll have to read the tag to see when I'm supposed to harvest them, because I already have one that's starting to get sizable. And then I dropped some additional dill over here. Tomato plant, one more free tomato plant. This is actually like a pineapple orange tomato that I got from the nursery. And then another zucchini plant. So there is a zucchini down there. And that is bed 2. So finally for the front yard, beds 3 and 4, they're round beds. 36 inches around. They're fire pits actually. No bottom. These are all cucumbers and okra plants. So for this, first year I put them out here as well. I have some okra that I meant to pick last night that I didn't get back to, and it's pretty sizable. We'll see if it's gotten too big to be tasty, but I've started to pick a couple of cucumbers from here. You know, it's kind of hard to not look at this year and start to think about what you want to change next year, but I'm not certain I'll grow both of these here together next year. We'll see. But these leaves are looking really healthy, more healthy actually compared to those that are in the 2 longer beds. I don't know if it is the soil that's in this bed, these 2 versus the longer ones. I don't know if this gets a little bit of shade. Not sure what the difference is, but you know, a little bit of trial and error. We'll see. So I am going to wrap up here and then start with a little bit of maintenance. And I have to water, although the weather forecast calls for rain. I'm not sure how much, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my Saturday watering. And I will see you all next time.